December, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
All right, so we just said that we can draw up a debt document for the borrower, even though the lender is not with him, as long as the borrower says you can, and because nevertheless the witnesses may sign it since he is the one to whom the note will obligate. The Gemara now presents its question.
Okay.
The Hachsa Chila Heichi Kos Vinhu. How may we draw up the note initially? Nachush Shema Kas Leilas Benason. Let us be apprehensive that perhaps the debtor will draw up the note to borrow the money in the month of Nisan. Below Lavo ad Tishri, but he did not actually borrow the money until Tishrei. V'aseh l'mataraf course shalal kadin. Thus, the creditor will come to unlawfully seize real property from its purchasers. And that's a question mark there.
Okay, so the Gemara originally, your first comment that ArtScroll said was, if you ask the question, how can the witnesses sign on this document? It says on the document that they're witnessing the lender giving a loan to the borrower, and the borrower is not even, the lender is not even there. So how can they sign such a thing? So in that, you read that the ArtScroll said that it's okay because the borrower he's allowing this document to be written up that is making him obligated on a loan that didn't happen yet. So as long as he's okay with it, so the ArtScroll is saying that's what's giving the signatories the permission to sign on the document. But on that, the Gemara is asking the question. That's very nice that the borrower says it's okay to draw up the document now. But what about the possibility that if the document is going to be drawn up now and the money is not going to be lent for another 6 months, that may be okay for the borrower. He'll get his loan anyway, and he'll pay it back, whatever it is, or he won't pay it back. And if he doesn't pay it back, and then the lender is going to be able to use this document against somebody who purchased property from the borrower after the loan was actually given, and that will be against the law. So that's exactly what the Gemara's question is. It's very nice that you're saying that they could sign on this note because the borrower says it's okay. He agrees to obligate himself, but the purchaser of the property to the borrower is going to sell after the loan document has been written up, but before it's been given, he's not okay with that because he's going to get cheated. That's the Gemara's question. How can we? But so at the end of the day, the Gemara is asking the question: how could such a document get written up? It's not right. Okay. Okay, now we're ready to hear Rav Asi's answer. Omer Rav Asi. Alan, you want to read Omer Rav Asi?
Which page is now?
Which page?
14,
3 words.
What was that again?
14B4. Last line on the page.
Before. Okay. Money 3, getting there. One, two, three, four.
No.
Is that here the Mishnah in Shavuos is Shavuos primary place? Is that it?
Alex, last words on the page. Page 12. Last words on the bottom of the page.
Page 12.
Rav Asi said,
12B.
Rav Asi said in bold letters, right at the bottom. Maybe showing.
Page 14. Oh, 12B.
Can you
12B4.
have a look at the screen I'm showing you on the computer? No.
Do you have a Bava Metzia, Alan?
Yeah.
What page are you on?
12B3, 12B4. Okay.
Right, good.
It's the last lines. The Gemara now presents its question.
No, further down.
Below that.
The last line, the Gemara answers.
Yes.
Yeah, the Gemara answers. Omar Rav Asi said, Bish to Ray, the Mishnah that permits they noted that this to be drawn up even if the lender is not present, speaks about notes of acquisition. For example, loan documents stipulate that the borrower gives the person's name as a lender and immediate lien against the real property for the amount recorded as the loan, even in the event that the lender does not lend the money. In this case, the apprehension that the loan did not take place on the date specified in the note is irrelevant. Tahor should be not mache. For the debtor has obligated himself to pay the sum stipulated in the note regarding of whether the loan is made or not.
Well, how does that help the purchaser? How's it gonna? The purchaser is going to. In other words, an ordinary document, an ordinary loan document does not obligate the borrower from the time of the date that it appears on the shtar. So such a document like that, an ordinary loan document that goes that really is not obligating according to the date, that we cannot write unless the malva, unless the lender is there, because of this concern that we have that that the loan is actually going to only be afterwards. But in this case, in the case of a shtar hakna, even though the malva gives him the money perhaps only after the date that's written on this document, nevertheless, it doesn't invalidate the document. By being a predated document, and it's permissible to use this document because the whole terms of this document are that the borrower is obligating himself personally from the time that's written on the document. And I guess there has to be some indication of that on the document itself, that we know that it's a shtar hakna as opposed to an ordinary shtar halva. So like that, the witnesses are able to sign on it, even though it's even though the loan hasn't been made yet. And what's his name? The future purchaser of property is going to realize, is going to be put on notice that there's a shtar hakna that was written, not just an ordinary shtar halva. And so therefore he's put on notice that from the date of that document, he better not buy any property from the borrower, because that property is going to be subject to being taken if the borrower doesn't pay. Okay.
I think in English, we would call this document a lien, not a loan document. It's not dependent on the loan. Even if the loan is never made, the document's still valid.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, that would seem to be that's what we're saying here, right? Even if it would never even be given the loan. For some reason, he's okay. So there was a pre-existing obligation or something that's why he would be signing on for such a thing like this. I don't know. Okay, let's take a look. We got a Rashi for Phil here on the top of Yud Gimel Amid Aleph. Oh, but at the end of the day, what we're saying is that it's a bit of a forced interpretation. It's a bit of a stretch to say that that's what this mission is talking about. It says Kosvin Shtar Leloiva, even if the malva is not there. It's a bit of a stretch to say that we're talking about a shtar hakna.
You shouldn't call him a borrower.
He's not, yeah, right, exactly. Okay, Phil.
Yeah, you want the star, the starry hakana with star of a purchase.
Starry hakna, yeah.
The miknelo that he purchased for him nichasa properties from that day. Bain yeleve bain lo yeleve, whether he lends it to him or he doesn't lend it to him. Yigba behem, he collects from him. Ra'oto Zman at that time, Mehayom, from that day, from that time.
Yeah, from that day that's written on the document. Because it's not dependent on the giving of a loan altogether. So therefore, accordingly, it's not dependent on when the loan was made. If it would be made after the date that's on this star, it's irrelevant. Even if a loan is not made, it's still we call him a lova. It's sort of like a borrowed term. He's not really a lova. We don't know. He's like Lou said. He's putting his property on lien to this person. So we're saying it's a bit of a stretch in this to explain that that's what the Mishnah is talking about. But okay, that's what we're saying. And now we're going to go to the next step of the Gemora, Ihachi. And we have Lud to read Ihachi on the top of Yud Gimel, first line, end of the line.
Okay. Ihachi. If so, that the only justification for drawing up a note of indebtedness without the lender's presence is in the case of a note of acquisition, masnisin de katane, then you will find difficulty with our Mishnah, which teaches im yesh bahen acharayos nechasim lo yachazir. If there is a lien on the property in the notes, the fonder may not return them to the creditor. V'okimna b'shechayav modeh. And we have interpreted the Mishnah as referring to a case where the debtor admits that the debt is indeed owed.
Yeah.
Mishum Shema Kasav Lolova Bini Ksak below Lova Ad Tishrei. And the reason the note may not be returned is because we're apprehensive that perhaps the debtor drew up the note to borrow in the month of Nisan, but did not actually borrow the money until the month of Tishrei. Va'aseh the mit raf the kuchos shelo kadin, and the creditor will come to unlawfully seize property from its purchasers. Now the Gemora explains the difficulty. Amai lo yachazir. Why should he not return the note to the creditor? The possibility that the writing and dating of the note preceded the time of the loan should not be of concern to us, as the following analysis will show. Nachazeh, let us see. Ibishtar hakena, if the found note was a note of acquisition, ha she abayid le nafshe, then he, the borrower, has obligated himself to pay the sum stipulated in the note based on the date appearing in the note, regardless of the actual time of the loan, thus rendering irrelevant the apprehension that the loan actually took place only later. E bishtar delo hakena'ah, and if the found note is a note not of the acquisition type, i.e., it is an ordinary loan document,
Yeah.
whereby a lien takes effect only from the date of the actual loan,
Yeah.
leka le mechash, then there is no reason to be apprehensive that the date of the loan document precedes the time of the actual loan. Deha amras ki leka malve dechade lo kasvinan.
Ah,
For you, Rab Asi say that when the lender is not present with the borrower, we may not draw up an ordinary loan document.
right,
Then does the Mishnah's ruling apply?
right. See what's going on over here?
It's an impossible. You can't have the contradiction because that contradictory case is impossible.
Right. Yeah, just to restate the difficulty over here, so that we understand it completely. So the Gemora is asking a question on Rav Asi's answer based upon what it says in our Mishnah and the way that we explained our Mishnah. We said our Mishnah is talking about a case where even though the borrower has admitted that he has not paid, nevertheless, we don't give the loan document back to the lender because we're concerned that maybe this note was written in Nisan and the loan was not given until Tishrei, and that would allow the lender to unjustly take advantage and requisition property that was bought after the date on the shtar, but before the loan was actually made. So on that, the Gemora is saying, according to Rav Asi's answer, that there is no such chashash, because in the case of an ordinary loan document, the way Rav Asi explains, that there's no such a thing as the borrower drawing up such a document without the lender being there. And if the lender is there, so then presumably he's going to be giving the money at that time. So the loan is actually made on the date that's written in the shtar, and we don't have such a thing as a shtar mukdam, a predated loan document. There's not going to be any such a thing. So therefore, there's no reason to not give it back to the lender. Okay, so that's where we're holding. We're holding with a kasha on Rav Asi. We got Rashi's over here. Ihachi. Have any time left? 2 minutes.
We're up to
Second line in Rashi. Ihachi.
if so. The bishtare with the star, the lav hakana, that's not for acquisition. Lo avidi, that doesn't work. The katve, because it's written, ela rather im kain, if so, ra'u halav, unless ra'u halova, that the lender sees it, hama'ot, the money. In a Mishnah, like we taught.
Elim kain ro halvos hamos. Lo avidi de kasve. We're not in the custom of writing a note of a loan document unless the witnesses will actually see the money being lent, because the malva is there, the lender is there, and he's lending the money to the guy, to the loiva. That's what we said according to Rav Asi. So if so, then we don't understand our Mishnah now. The next Rashi says, "Kileka malva bahadeh." If the malva is not there, we no send most b'fneim lo kasvinen. If the malva is not there to give and what's the whole reason that he's there? He's there in order to give the loan money to the borrower. If he's not going to be there to give the loan money to the borrower, so then lo kasvinin. So then the halacha is that we don't allow such a document to be written up. So we got no chashash, therefore, because no such a document will be written up. That's what Ravasi is saying in the Mishnah in Bava Basra. But that makes a big problem for us in our Mishnah over here, because we're saying that we were explaining our Mishnah here in Bava Metzia that there is such a chashash. So that's where we're holding right now as we conclude today's session.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, take care.
All the best.
Hey, thank
Freilich
you.
and Hanukkah.
Hanukkah Sameach, everybody. Be well,
Amen.
joyful, and